Folks, let me tell you when a buyer crosses the line and the seller loses it. I'll get into that and then the latest home prices and insights for York Region for week ending March the 12th, 2025. A while back, we were representing a client where we sold their home and we purchased another one for them. Now, I'm focused more on the purchase side of this situation. So my clients had purchased a home and we couldn't quite line up their sale closing date with the purchase closing date. They were going to actually be out of their home before they could move into their new home. And my clients were fine with that. They had a place to put their furniture. Everything was all organized. It was all planned out. And my clients agreed to it because it was all planned out. For the home we're purchasing, we had a few visits before closing. And so on these visits, the sellers would be there showing my clients the mechanicals of the house, answering questions. The sellers were super, super nice. My clients, great people. Everybody's getting along, having fun. They actually found some commonalities in their conversations. And it was just fun. It was all fun being there for the visits, and everybody's happy that they're going to be moving on with their life with the new properties. The sellers did say they were going to be out about a week or so before closing. And my clients, as we're getting closer to closing date, says, Santo, we need a little bit more space to put some of our stuff. Do you think the sellers would allow us to put just a few pieces in the garage before closing? And I said to my clients, normally, when I'm on the seller side, I normally say no to that. But let me ask. And that's what I did. I asked. And the sellers, their attitude was, look, we're already out. They want to put a few pieces in the garage before closing. No problem. Let us know what time. We'll meet you there. Open the garage, because they weren't giving us the keys. It's not, my clients haven't closed on a home yet, but they were going to meet us there and open the garage. My clients would put a few pieces in there, and that was the end. The garage would be locked until closing date. Simple, right? Well, I don't need to be there for that. It's a simple process. The seller's agent doesn't need to be there for that. It's, again, a simple situation. Everything's agreed to. Everybody's getting along. So my clients show up at the time that was organized with a big truck. And before the sellers noticed, because the sellers were busy talking to neighbors and doing other things in the house, the last few minute things, all this furniture and stuff gets unloaded onto the driveway and the truck leaves. And this is when the sellers kind of noticed, wow, there's a lot of stuff here. This is not a few pieces in a corner of the garage. Like, this is a lot of stuff. And so the sellers are uncomfortable with that. But what are they going to do now, right? The stuff is all in their driveway. My clients are putting stuff in the garage. Well, they filled up the garage and needed more room. And the sellers graciously said, well, put a few extra pieces then that you can't fit in a garage, put them in the basement. And that's what they did. So they put a few more pieces in the basement. And just when you think they're done, and that's the end of it, the truck comes back and it's full again. The sellers now, that's it. They're like, no. You set a few pieces, you filled the garage, half the basement, enough. Please do not unload this truck here. Well, my clients are unloading the truck. They're loading the truck. This is when I get the phone call. The agent of the sellers calls me and says, Santo, you better get down there. They're fighting. Like, what are you talking about? You better get down there. They're fighting. Your guys are filling it. It's like they're moving in. I go, what? No, it's just a few pieces, they said. And so I call my client and they're like, I hear yelling in the background, and my client said, they won't let us put the stuff that, it's like, well, I say, like, I'm coming down. I get down there, and as I'm pulling up and parking, I could see my clients are unloading the truck onto the driveway. The seller is physically grabbing whatever's being unloaded and throwing it, not just throwing it back onto the truck. Everybody's yelling at each other. It's what a mess. I had to get in the middle of that and try to diffuse the situation. I got to tell you, none of this stuff is written in the realtor handbook. But these things happen. And look, I'm not telling you every time this situation happens, there's going to be a fight. But I'm like, there's no way I'm getting involved in this situation again. Every day across the city, there are buyers asking sellers, please, can I put a few things in your garage before closing? And also, but from the seller side also, many times a seller will say, the buyers say, listen, we're going to have everything out before closing date, but can I leave one or two pieces in the corner of the garage to pick up, a few days after closing? And it seems innocent enough, right? And especially if you're getting along with the buyer or the seller, it's like, why not? It seems simple enough. And I'm not saying everybody's going to get into a fight the way my clients did, but there is another part to this. There is a liability part to this also that absolutely needs to be considered. If you're accepting somebody else's stuff, whatever it is, you're responsible, right? Like if you're the owner of the home, even though it's a week or two to closing and the buyers put a few things in the garage, like it or not, you are taking on the responsibility that stuff's going to be protected. You could say, I'm not responsible. And the buyers could say, oh, I agree, you're not responsible, thank you. But if something does go wrong and the opportunity is there for something to go wrong, for something to get damaged, what if it's your house that gets damaged? What if the stuff sitting there gets damaged? It's just going to lead to a bad situation. So on that note, I would say it's not a good idea. Think long and hard when you do somebody a favor like this, because you do have responsibilities that you think you don't have, but you absolutely do. If you think this video can help somebody please pass it along. If you get value from what we're talking about, subscribe. And if you want to speak with me about your real estate situation, selling, buying, it's really simple. Below this video in the description, there's a link to my calendar. Click on that, or you can go straight to tsre.ca. That goes right to my calendar. Book a time and a date that's convenient for you, and we'll talk about whatever's on your mind. Now, let's get into the numbers. Here we go, folks. York region. This data is only for detached properties. We're going to be focused on not all of York region, but Vaughan, Richmond Hill, Markham. Vaughan, Richmond Hill, Markham. Average sold price, not that far apart for this week, and it's for week ending March the 12th. We're going to start off with Vaughan. Again, week ending March the 12th, 21 detached properties were sold. 6 were sold at $2 million or more. Sales, kind of flat is the way I would say it. 21, the previous week was 21, 25, 20, kind of flat over the last few weeks. Average sold price, also, we've got the low week over here at 1.5, but average price for this current week is $1,645,000. Maybe trending down a little bit. We'll see it in another chart a little bit closer as to which way it's going, but kind of flat, I would say. Compared to last year, 1,645 is 8% lower. If we look at the last 3-4 weeks, that's kind of the theme. 10% lower, 11% lower, so 8% lower. That's the trend we've been on. The median price of $1,433,000 is 10% lower than this time a year ago. The dotted line here, that's a 4-week moving average. And if we look at, say, since the beginning of February or so, or mid-February, so the last 4 or 5 weeks, it does look like average price and median price trending down slightly. 21 were sold, 38% sold at list price or more. Listings are trending upward, but active listings specifically are trending upwards. Active listings are the properties actually available for sale. So it's the total of what hasn't been sold over the previous few weeks and what's physically on the market available for sale as of midnight, March the 12th. And that number has been rising. Months of inventory look like they've been rising also. We're sitting at 4.6 months of inventory, pretty much a balanced market. That's Vaughan. We're going to go to Richmond Hill. 10. That's it. Only 10 detached properties were sold. 2 of them were at $2 million or more. Kind of looks like sales are falling there. Average sold price also looks like it's coming down to $1,686,000. 1,686 is 2% lower than this time a year ago. The median price is 5% lower. Now, for a little while there, average prices were trending upwards, but it kind of looks like they're dropping now. Now, I'm just going to go back here a second. When we're looking at, 10 and 13 and 8, they're not great samples of the whole market. So just keep that in mind. I can only base the data on the data we actually have. And when there's only 10 sales, yeah, we're going to come up with an average number, but it's very much influenced by only those 10. If we had 20 sales and 30 sales, the average would be, I guess, more indicative of the actual market. Let me jump ahead here. So 10 were sold, 40% of those, so 4 out of those 10 sold at list price or more. Listings trending up. Active listings also trending up. Months of inventory shooting way up. Well, more and more properties are sitting on the market unsold, and sales drop down to 10. So months of inventory, this is the reaction. It's now sitting at 9.1 months of inventory. Here's Markham. 19 detached properties were sold. 6 of those were at $2 million or more. Are sales trending up? It's kind of tough to say, right? We were at 13, 14, then 22, then 16, 19. So maybe sales are trending up slightly. Average sold price is sitting at $1,707,500. Now, I circled the previous week and the current week. The current week, we had 1 property sell at $2 million or more, brought the average price really low. This week, we've got 6 selling, big contrast, 6 selling at $2 million or more. Average price shoots way up. I think it's somewhere in the middle, will probably be a little bit more accurate. Compared to last year, 1,775 is 6% lower than where we were this time a year ago. The median price is 8% lower. 19 were sold, more than half, 53% sold at list price or more. Listings, a little bit higher. Active listings climbing. Months of inventory, pretty much a balanced market at 4.4 months of inventory. Here's a quick summary. In most cases, you're going to experience a balanced market. In most cases, there's going to be some situations, some neighborhoods, some pockets where it's going to feel more of a buyer's market. Properties sitting there, sellers competing with each other to attract the buyer. When it's a seller's market, it's the other way. Sellers are not competing with each other. Buyers are tripping over themselves to overpay. It's not that. Although the odd property here or there, I know I'm all over the place here, but the odd property here or there that everybody wants to buy, they'll ignore all the other properties sitting on the market and they want that one, but you may still find yourself in a competitive situation. And in fact, in a lot of these areas, half the properties, 40%, half selling at list price or more. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome day.